Λοιπόν, σε αυτό το σημείο θα προχωρήσουμε στον επόμενο μιλητή, που είναι ο πολύ αγαπητός μας κύριος Dan Flynn, ο ιδρυτικός διευθυντής του Κέντρου Ελιάς του Πανεπιστημίου της Καλιφόρνιας στο Davis. Η ομιλία θα είναι στα αγγλικά, δυστυχώς δεν έχουμε φέτος διαθέσιμη ταυτόχρονη μετάφραση. Ελπίζω περισσότερο να μπορέσετε να καταλάβετε. Θα συνοψίσω και εγώ μετά, μεταφράζοντας στα ελληνικά, τα βασικά σημεία. So I would like to ask Mr. Dan Flynn, founding director of the UC Davis Solid Center, to present his talk about the new trends in the olive oil.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's really nice to be able to see all of you again. I'm sorry I have to deliver my remarks in English. Eleni and Prokopius, with everything else they have to do, they're trying to teach me a little bit of Greek, and I think I've proven to be a fairly slow-witted student, but we laugh a lot, and that's really the universal language. And I always feel so welcome when I arrive in Greece. So it's great to see you all, whether you're masked or unmasked. So we're going to talk about olive oil and the new trends, and actually we could talk about a number of different trends that are occurring in olive oil. I mean, one trend that's out there is that the price is up, and I hope people are benefiting from that compared to other oils out there. Sunflower, for example, the conflict in the Ukraine has driven up the cost of sunflower oil, and so olive oil maybe is at a better position with sunflower oil than it's been in quite some time. And we could also talk about climate change and how that's proven to be a challenge for a lot of the producers out there. But I'd really like to talk about another new trend that really has occurred since I arrived here a couple of weeks ago, actually in Rome. And we are really on this epic journey with olive oil that has gone on for so many thousands of years, and we're all part of it. And it's had its ups and downs, it's had its challenges, its threats, but I'm seeing some real hope for the kind of work that the World Olive Center for Health is trying to accomplish here, what you're hearing about in all these incredible studies. So, okay, which one do I push? No? How about on here? Oh, that's good. Well, while we're on this slide, this is a recent event that occurred in the Vatican on May 3rd and 4th of this month, and it was an incredible opportunity to have olive oil in the Vatican to be discussed, and as a focal point, as a discussion about the Mediterranean diet. And it was, for someone who's gone through 14 years or so of Catholic school, just a great event to be inside at their Pontifical Academy of Sciences to discuss this with a number of eminent scientists and other leaders in olive oil worldwide. And Dr. Mariatis and Miliu were there, along with Stefanos coming in there. We really, I think, all were incredibly moved by what we saw transpire during the couple of days in the Vatican. So the Vatican not only is the home of the Pope, but it also has the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, which has been around since 1935, and it looks at various issues related to science and tries to shine a spotlight and try to help advance science in the world with the worldwide reach that the Vatican has. And so this was an event to summarize some of the best available research that's on the Mediterranean diet. And, the Mediterranean diet is the most studied of all the dietary plans that are out there. And it has the strongest body of evidence that it is healthy for us and is helpful in fighting chronic diseases and providing protection for us. Not sure okay. So this was part of the, I think this is on a delay. There we go. So there's Stefanos at one of the receptions that was occurring during the break. Incredible to just be inside the walls there and to meet with people. So this was all about the Mediterranean diet, and we heard from a number of the most important scientists who have been studying this for decades. Not only did we hear from a number of Stefanos' colleagues at Harvard, Walter Willett and Frank Hu, who have been engaged with the Nurses' Health Study and other important research, some of the most important research ever done on diets. But we had Antonia Trikopoulou, who was the leader here in Greece on the Mediterranean diet. We had Greg Drescher from the Culinary Institute of America, and also Miguel Angel Martinez Gonzalez, who's one of the leaders of the PREDIMED study that you've heard a little bit about so far today. So it was just a superstar team of scientists. And here's where we were having our meals, which the ceiling looks a little bit like the Sistine Chapel. So we not only were gathered here in the Vatican, but we also had some time outside the Vatican to talk about the diet and to experience what this diet means to Greece in particular, but also for our health and benefits that we have for populations worldwide. And one of the things that came out during the conference is that, we know a lot about what the basics are that we need to do. Whole grains, fruits and vegetables, not too much red meat, not too much full-fat dairy, and lots of olive oil are the keys of this healthy dietary pattern. But it's not only that, it's the physical activity, and it's the conviviality that we share around the table, where we talk to one another, we laugh, we say yamas, and we enjoy just what it's like to be with one another and to feel alive. So that's what we were doing here in these series of days together. And one of the things that came out also was that there was a consensus that olive oil is healthy, and it's been critical for the success of the Mediterranean diet. But there were a couple of comments amongst this esteemed group of scientists that the phenolic content of the oil was a very interesting component of this research, and that we really need to know a bit more about the individual phenols in olive oil, and that more research needs to be done on these phenols, which beautifully set the stage for Eleni and Prokopius to come in and talk about it. But here's part of the challenge for us, is that the Bloomberg Health Index has shown that the Mediterranean diet, is helpful as reflected in Spain and Italy in the number 1 and 2 position, but Greece is down at number 24 and the U.S. is down at number 35. So there's more work that we need to do to improve our own dietary patterns. Each one of us individually could all do better in this. But once the discussion about dietary patterns and the importance of individual phenols arose in this conference, Eleni was able to discuss the research that we've been hearing about this evening, and Prokopius also did a lengthy discussion of all the research on the individual phenols, in particular oleocanthal, that have been proven to be protective of human health and what Procopius termed a miracle compound really got the attention of the scientists in the room, and they were taking pictures of his slides, and they were talking to both Olympia and Procopius during the breaks to learn more about what the World Olive Center for Health has been doing. So I think that this event will prove to be very impactful going forward in advancing the agenda that you have here with the World Olive Center for Health to do more research, to expand the clinical trials that we're seeing in these studies. All the evidence that are showing in these early stage trials is very promising, but in order to substantiate, to make policy change, we're going to need bigger trials which cost more money, and the people in this room that were listening to these presentations are very adept at accessing the large amounts of grant money necessary to expand the trials. So for the future, looking at the future for not only myself, but for the World Olive Center for Health, and here are the participants that we took a family photo at the end. I would say that for myself, as some of you know, I retired from the UC Davis Olive Center last year, and a few months ago, Olympia and Procopius asked if I could be a global ambassador for the World Olive Center for Health. And I told them that I'd be happy to do that, particularly in helping advance the results of the studies and the work that you're doing in the United States. And what I think is really important in this role will be for me to, first of all, put the emphasis on the science and the fact that this is not a fad, and these are not wild claims that are being made about the impact of oleocanthal and oleacin and the other phenols, but they're rooted in peer-reviewed scientific studies that have shown an incredible early result in many different diseases in terms of how these phenols can be protective. And by expanding awareness, I hope to, with their help and with the continued information that they're providing to other scientists, help provide the support that is necessary to expand the clinical trials. And then in addition to that, in partnership, and you'll hear from Stefanos in a minute, on his initiative that I won't say anything about, I'll let him talk about it, but I think those could actually be synergistic in advancing the work of the World Olive Center for Health, for Stefanos' initiative, and for advancing the interests of the growers, processors, distributors, retailers. Everybody in the olive oil chain will benefit if we are able to add more value to olive oil and get the public at large to appreciate it. And ultimately, the goal for this will be for everybody to live healthier and happier lives. Thank you very much.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. Θα πω πολύ περιληπτικά για όσους δεν μπόρεσαν να κατανοήσουν ότι αυτά τα οποία περιέγραψε ο Dan Flynn είναι ότι την περασμένη εβδομάδα η Ακαδημία του Ποντίφικα στο Βατικανό διοργάνωσε ένα ειδικό συνέδριο με τους κορυφαίους επιστήμονες στον κόσμο για το θέμα κυρίως ελαιόλαδο και υγεία, που δείχνει πόσο μεγάλη σημασία δίνει ένας από τους μεγαλύτερους πνευματικούς φορείς στον κόσμο στο θέμα του ελαιολάδου, και μέσα από αυτή την προσπάθεια αναδείχθηκαν τα επόμενα βήματα, το τι πρέπει να γίνει, πόσο σημαντικό είναι το ελαιόλαδο, πόσο σημαντικό είναι να κάνουν στοχευμένες κλινικές μελέτες με το ελαιόλαδο, και ιδίως έχοντας σαν αιχμή του δώρατος τις πολυφενόλες, που είναι το καινούριο στοιχείο το οποίο έχει αναδειχθεί μέσα από την έρευνα όλα τα τελευταία χρόνια. Και επίσης ο ίδιος περιέγραψε τον νέο ρόλο τον οποίο θα αναλάβει, καθώς δέχτηκε να γίνει Global Ambassador, δηλαδή πρεσβευτής στον κόσμο του ελαιολάδου για το Παγκόσμιο Κέντρο Ελιάς για την Υγεία. Θεωρούμε ότι είναι κάτι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό, καθώς είναι ένας ανθρώπους που έχει την μεγαλύτερη επιρροή αυτή τη στιγμή στον χώρο του ελαιολάδου στις Ηνωμένες Πολιτείες αλλά και διεθνώς, και είναι πολύ σημαντικό το να γίνει πρέσβης του ελαιολάδου και των ιδιωτήτων που έχει το ελαιόλαδο, και πιστεύουμε ότι από αυτό θα ωφεληθούμε όλοι πάρα πολύ. Να τον ευχαριστήσουμε θερμά για την βοήθειά του.